Hey everyone, welcome back to battlequestions.com. My name is Asher, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to assign quizzes to students that fall underneath your coach's account. So the first thing you want to do is go ahead and get logged in, and that's just going to bring you to the main page right here. From there, you're going to take a look on the left-hand side of your screen, and you'll see this Questions and Quizzes tab. You're going to select that. And so you can see here we've got a bit of a previous quiz history. We're not going to worry about that for the time being. What we're going to take a look at is this button up in the top right, the Generate Questions/Quizzes. You're going to go ahead and select that. And this is going to bring you into our first screen. So the first choice you need to make is whether you want to include in which book questions, content questions, or perhaps both. For right now, I'm going to go ahead and just use content questions. These are going to be great for just testing general comprehension and understanding of a title. In which book questions are great for students who may have read multiple titles at this point, and so you want to make sure that they're understanding each of those titles individually, but that they're not kind of getting mixed up in their head either. And so you can select as many titles as you'd like. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and select Always Clementine, and I'm going to copy the title. That way, just moving forward, it's easy for me to copy and paste. So once you've selected as many titles as you liked, you're going to go ahead and select the next button at the bottom. And that's going to bring you to this second page. So like I said in the last one, you can go ahead and just paste in the quiz name. So you can see Always Clementine has appeared here. For number of questions, I'm going to go ahead and just put in 10 so we can get a quick sample. I also think that tends to be a pretty good size for an individual quiz. All right, and so the last choice you're going to make is what level of difficulty questions you want to include. We've got 3 different difficulty levels. The first is novice. These are going to be the easiest, kind of most obvious, or right off the top of your head, super recognizable. The second level are going to be intermediate. They're going to be a bit more complicated, a bit more detailed. And then expert is going to be our hardest level. Those are going to be the most detailed questions. And I personally don't use these for individual quizzes. I think that the expert level questions are best in larger groups. They really spark a lot of discussion and debate among my students. So for right now, I'm just going to select novice and intermediate. So once you've made all these selections and you are ready to generate the quiz, you're going to take a look at the bottom here and select Assign to Student. And what that's going to do is show you a preview of the quiz that your students will be assigned. You can see at the top here we've got our title, and then these are all 10 questions that are going to be included. If you'd like, you could print this page. That way you have an answer key ready and available. And so once you scroll all the way down, I'm going to see all the students that are listed under my coach's account. If you wanted to, you could select all the students to ensure that they're all understanding a title that you may be reading together. But for right now, I'm just curious about how Heather is doing with this book. So I'm just going to select her name. And so once you've selected everyone that you want this quiz to be assigned to, you're going to take a look at the bottom here, and you're going to select Assign. And so now what that's done is assigned that quiz specifically to Heather. So now next time Heather logs into her account, she's going to see that at the very top of her main page, she's going to see I've assigned her a quiz. And so as I mentioned before, it takes us back to this main page and we can see this quiz history here. This is going to be really important because once you assign these quizzes to the students, once they take them, you are actually going to be able to go in and review these questions and what they answered. So let's see, Heather took the Brooklyn 9 for me. We can see that she scored a 60%. I can also see the number of books that I included, as well as the number of questions. Now, if you want a much more in-depth look at the quiz itself, what you're going to do is go all the way over to the right-hand side and select this icon that looks like an eyeball. And so we're going to see all the same information from that first page, but we're also going to see the duration added. And this is really important because this is going to be an indicator of whether students potentially just clicked through and only spent a minute selecting random answers. It also may be an indicator that they may have struggled or taken a decent amount of time if, say, you're seeing 30, 45 minutes for just 10 questions. So that's something that I really like to pay attention to. And so once we scroll down, we get an even more in-depth review of what this quiz looked like. So we can see the question. We also see the answer that Heather selected and what the correct answer was. So this one is in red, meaning she got it wrong. We can see that she selected draw an S in the sand. However, the correct answer was puts wrappers in a cigar box. And what's also really cool about this review is you can take a look here in this column and you'll see the page number where you can go into the text and actually locate the answer to this question. This is going to be really important for students to go back and actually look at these pages, to read through, give themselves the context of the answer itself. And it's also going to allow them to kind of commit it to memory. It's going to be a bit more meaningful instead of just looking and saying, okay, well, I got it wrong, this is the right answer, moving on. This review function can also be really helpful if you're assigning the same quiz to multiple students. You could go through and you could look and see what maybe the most commonly missed questions were. That way, as a group, you can discuss them. And again, you can take a look at that page number, revisit it in the text, and you guys can actually have a discussion around it. So with all that being said, thank you so much for choosing battlequestions.com. If you have any questions or anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out via phone call or text. Our number is 919-623-7346, or you could shoot us an email at info@battlequestions.com. Thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember, battle on.